In this anime, our protagonist is called Kazuhiro. He is a very relaxed and calm person, so much so that he prefers to go home instead of having a drink with his coworker. He is nothing more than a normal and ordinary office worker. When he arrives home, he usually cooks his own food and places food next to his bed before going to sleep. Kitase makes it clear that since childhood, he has loved fantasy worlds, those places filled with swords and shields, where monsters are usually defeated with magic. He spent all day reading books of that kind, until one day he started having some strange dreams. He would wake up in one of those worlds, and the first thing he did was check the time. At that moment, it is in the morning. Although he is an adult in real life, in that place, he is quite young and loves defeating all the monsters. Even when the battles do not end well, he always wakes up again in his bed, and Kazuhiro pauses for a moment to wash his face. Suddenly, a woman approaches him. This beautiful alpha is called Maribel, but he calls her Mary, always appearing young. She is more than years old. Kitase is very happy to see her, since she has been very busy with the Mags Guild. She is also happy, but feels bothered because he went camping there in the forest again, saying that he looks more like an elf than she does. She calls him Kazuhiro, because when she registered his name, he was just a child and did not know how to write. He invites Mary to investigate some nearby ruins, which offends her because women do not like being invited to visit ruins. Kazuhiro offers food for her to accompany him, and she finally accepts. The ruins they go to are called Nozzle, an underground city that was abandoned thousands of years ago, but that is only what people say. There are no signs of combat in these ruins. They are completely intact. The main theory about the fall of the ruins is some unknown virus, which is very strange because such an advanced magical civilization would never fall to something like that. This makes it one of the 7 great mysteries of the area they are in. Mary asks if he would be able to solve this mystery, but Kazuhiro tells her that it does not matter. He just wants to have fun investigating, and with her, it will be even better. After entering, Mary uses some magical torches to light up the area, and the two sit down to eat. The girl falls in love with how good the food is and asks where it comes from. Then Kazuhiro says that the food is from his homeland. Yes, folks, it is the same food he placed on the bed before going to sleep. When they finish eating, they continue investigating. Suddenly, Mary gets frightened when she sees a monster, so she tells him to be careful, but Kazuhiro does not care at all. He runs forward and charges at the creature. Different from what we thought, the two are friends. In fact, the lizard congratulates Kazuhiro for walking around with such a hot elf, but he tells the lizard that she only cares about his food, nothing more than that. The point is that they are speaking in the monster's language. Actually, Kazuhiro speaks in the elven language with Mary. Yes, people, he is trilingual. It was a matter of necessity. He says that whenever he tried to talk to them, he ended up being attacked, forcing him to take years to learn the new language. He tells Mary that there is a dragon that lives in the ruins, and besides that, it is in breeding season, so the lizard tells him to be careful. Even so, Kazuhiro says that he wants to see the dragon's eggs. Mary warns him that it is a very dangerous thing, but once again, he just ignores it. After that, they arrive at a completely dark place. Mary activates a night vision spell, which she could have done at the very beginning, but she was too lazy. Even though there is a huge dragon sleeping there, if they do not make any noise, there is no problem at all. But when Mary sees the dragon, she gets scared and grabs Kazuhiro. After that grab, he ends up thinking some foolish things. She notices this and gets angry because he is not paying attention to her and ends up raising her voice. The dragon gets angry because they woke him up from his beauty sleep. All the doors they entered through closed. The two are trapped with a dragon that immediately starts breathing fire at them. Kazuhiro does not care much because he is in a dream. He wakes up as if nothing had happened in his bed, and he really enjoyed spending that time with Mary. When he looks to the side, he realizes that Mary is also there with him. He does not understand what is happening, but for sure the dreams he has are more mysterious than he thought. When she wakes up, it takes her a while to realize that she is naked. All she notices is Kazuhiro's face, which looks much older. He says that he will explain later, and asks if she is alright, since technically they were just burned by a dragon. This makes Mary realize that she is naked, letting out a huge scream, she demands feminine clothes. But since Kazuhiro lives alone, he does not have feminine clothes at home, so he goes out to buy something for her to wear, even with everyone judging him. When he returns, he notices that Mary is admiring a landscape she had never seen before. She gets very excited, thinking that Kazuhiro is a millionaire for living in such a high place. She thinks she is in paradise or some kind of amusement park. She points to a giant tower, thinking that some famous mage lives there since he took a day off. He asks if she wants to go for a walk. She gets very excited about the invitation and ends up jumping on top of him. But when she realizes she is naked, she hits him with a pillow. Fortunately, he has already bought clothes for her, so she gets dressed. Meanwhile, Kazuhiro reflects on his situation, thinking that if he can travel with Mary from his dream, that means it could be a parallel reality. At that moment, Mary is very happy with her new clothes. So she asks if they are in his homeland, the one he talks about so often. He says yes, and says he will tell her about Japan while they head somewhere. But first, he gives her a beanie since her ears could draw a lot of attention because they are not normal in this world. She finds the beanie very beautiful and accepts it with pleasure. She is extremely excited to get to know this new place and wants to go out right away. While she was in the car, she ended up very traumatized. Maybe it was too early to introduce her to that. Kazuhiro takes her to eat something, and the waitress likes Mary because she looks very happy. He orders food, and something interesting happened. Mary does not know the language they are speaking. She does not understand any Japanese, so the two keep talking in Elish, and that is good, so the others will not understand. Mary wants to have some answers and wants Kazuhiro to explain to her how he arrived at this place since she does not remember anything after being hit by the dragon. Kazuhiro explains that he does not really have much idea of what is happening. He tells her that when he was a child, he used to have the frequent dream of being in another world, but it never seemed strange since it only warned him. For Kazuhiro, that life was just the product of his imagination. But that morning, everything changed when she woke up beside him, making him realize that maybe that world is also real. About his age, he says that time flows differently in the two world. His real age is years old. She thinks years is very old, but she already felt that he was someone very mature for his appearance. The food arrives and she is once again impressed. They enjoy the food and spend some quality time together. After that, they walk along a path full of cherry trees, and it is in that place that he welcomes her to Japan. She simply comes closer and takes his arm so they can walk together. Love is truly beautiful. As night falls, Mary asks Kazuhiro what will happen if she is not able to return to her world. He, stammering, says that she can live together with him. The two can have fun and travel through Japan, making it clear the wonders that exist in his world. Even though she is embarrassed, she does not think it is a bad idea. Back home, he comments to Mary that she can take a bath if she wants. When she sees the bathtub working, she thinks that it is magic. Kazuhiro gives her soap, and she thinks he is a noble who is spoiling her with luxuries. While she relaxes, Kazuhiro, as the man of the house, is cooking. He is happy to get to know this new side of her since she never behaved like this in the other world. When she leaves the bath, she is eager to try his food because it looks spectacular, and it really was. Of all the dishes she has tried, this one was the best so far. He tells her that when they return to the other world, they can take even more food. Mary asks him if he has already tried taking something else. He says that he has already tried taking a watch, flashlights, and things like that, but none of them worked. Kazuhiro plays a little with the flashlight since she did not know it. She was not very impressed. For her, Earth technology is not allowed in the other world. Probably some god must prevent it, or something like that. It is a theory. Probably there is someone in charge of enforcing the rules, the same ones that allow or do not allow things to happen with Kazuhiro. For example, it was allowed that she could be brought to him, which means that he has some responsibility to fulfill. That is why Mary asks if someone asked him for something specific or if he has some mission to accomplish. But he answers that no, he has never mentioned his world to anyone. And that is quite normal since he thought it was just dream. Besides that, he does not even remember the details of the first time he traveled, but there is nothing to do. So, they drop the subject. Kazuhiro wants to solve the problem they already have. When they travel to the other world, they will probably be facing the dragon that defeated them the first time. That is why they must plan different strategies together. Otherwise, he will not be able to sleep because of that dragon. Besides Besides that, the creature is not just any dragon. It is an archdragon. When Mary saw its breath for the first time, she was terrified. That is because they have infinite magical energy and are even more intelligent than humans. In the past, they managed to destroy islands and even create volcanoes. They are beings that have fought against demons and humans many times. He asks Mary if she knows anything about its personality, but she says that dragons do not have personalities, or at least that is what she thinks. The only information she has is that their scales produce magical energy and are extremely valuable. With just a small piece of a scale, you would become very rich. After that, she tells him about a legend that speaks of a dragon that assumed a human form to visit a people. The point is that it did nothing. It spent several days there and then left. The place from the legend is the small port town of Ole. This gives Kazuhiro an idea as he approaches the refrigerator and smiles. When it is time to sleep, Mary is comfortable in the bed that looks like it belongs to a king. She stretches out her hand, inviting him to join her. Her goal is to try to return to her world. He becomes very embarrassed, even more so when she clings to him. The last time they traveled, they were hugging each other, so they decide to repeat that. Even while dying of embarrassment, they actually manage to return to Mary's world. Before they realize it, they are already attacked by the dragon. The two manage to dodge, but he tells her not to let go of him. The plan is to try to talk to the dragon. Because of that, Kazuhiro introduces himself and apologizes for entering its nest, saying that he only wanted to see the dragon's balls and ended up involving his friend, so he asks the dragon to spare their lives. He said all of this in the dragon language. Yes, this guy speaks every possible language. Finally, he offers liquor to calm the dragon. It is not as stupid an idea as you are thinking. Kazuhiro has already passed through Oslo, the city from the legend, and he remembered that this place is famous for its barley alcohol. In fact, it is the only thing that stands out in that village, and this theory really worked. When he opens the liquor, the dragon tells Kazuhiro that he is a very interesting human since he knows how to speak the dragon language. The dragon remembers killing them yesterday, but here they are alive, as if nothing had happened. That is why it wants to know how they did it. That is the condition for letting them live. When Kazuhiro explains, the dragon finds it mysterious, but at the same time amusing. It sees that the two no longer have bad intentions, and even shows its balls to them. They get very excited about witnessing them. The dragon senses a strange smell, so it asks what Kazuhiro is hiding. It is the food he was carrying because it is very large. The dragon has difficulty communicating, and the liquor they brought for it will not even be enough to wet its tongue. So it decides to cast a spell that releases magic everywhere, and suddenly it vomits, and that disgusting creature transforms into this beautiful draconian woman. The girl wastes no time and asks Kazuhiro to hand over the beer and the food immediately. But then she realizes she might be being rude and perhaps taking advantage of him. For that reason, she says that in return, she will give him one of her magic-covered scales. He does not understand anything since they are literally speaking in another language. But Kazuhiro accepts the deal, and the draconian eats like a dragon to the point of even choking. Thanks to that, she tastes the beer, becoming shocked at how good it is. Then she asks Kazuhiro if people eat this regularly, but he answers that these are things that do not exist in that world, and that is good, because she was already thinking about destroying cities to get more. Mary is happy that they got out of this alive. Mary goes crazy when Kazuhiro tells her that they obtained a dragon scale. Any mage would give all their riches to get one of those. These scales have already started wars. The draconian gets sad that the food is already gone. Kazuhiro shows that he still has another one, but he regrets it a little because that lunch is Mary. She returns the favor with a blue stone. She has no idea why people see value in it. Kazuhiro asks why it has that color, and she explains that when the draconian went to lay her eggs, her blue blood fell on those stones. Immediately, Mary tells him to accept the deal and trade the lunch. After that, the two are free to leave and can visit her whenever they want, but they must always bring more food. Mary cannot believe what happened. They obtained many precious objects for mere lunches. They say that this stone is capable of curing any disease. Just like the scale, it is so valuable that she does not know what to do with it. Selling it or simply donating it to someone who needs it is not an option. Since its value is extremely high, people would start asking where the two of them got it, since they would not be able to keep it a secret. People would eventually end up bothering the draconian. This leads Kazuhiro to solve the mystery of those ruins. His theory is based on the fact that the archdragon lays its eggs every several thousand years. So those who used to live there must have tried to take them, causing the dragon to chase them to the city and drive out all its inhabitant and then create the nest where it now resides. Mary tells Kazuhiro to keep the relics they just obtained. He becomes worried because he might lose them, but she replies that it is not a problem. At the very least, in the future, they will be able to enter a bar and say that they met the archdragon. Kazuhiro thinks that it is certainly a good story to tell his children, which makes Mary very embarrassed. When the two of them leave, they decide to go eat something in the nearest city and also find a place for Mary to sleep. Kazuhiro can sleep anywhere since he will return to Japan as always, but she becomes very sad since it would be their farewell. However, she says that she will sleep together with him since she wants to return as well, so that he can teach her Japanese and about his country, which makes Kazuhiro very happy. Days later, they are already sharing this somewhat complicated life. When he arrives home from work, he finds her studying Japanese. For him, it is still incredible to see a hot elf in his house. Mary was so focused that she did not even notice him arriving. He tells her that ground meat at the supermarket was quite cheap, so they are going to eat. While he prepares everything, Mary starts practicing her introduction in Japanese. Kazuhiro is surprised by the fact that she is learning very fast. Her method that works is learning one sentence and then adding more to it, taking advantage of the opportunity she has to travel between two worlds while sleeping. She studies twice as much. Her goal is to be able to hold a conversation in months. He is sure that she will succeed. Kazuhiro asks her to smell the wine that he is going to put on the table for the two of them to drink. She does not understand very well and ends up getting close to smell it, saying that it smells very good. When she realizes that she misunderstood, she is extremely embarrassed. Later, they start eating. She is enchanted by the food and ends up getting drunk because of the alcohol in the wine. While he washes the dishes, Mary asks what happens to things from the other world when they come to Earth. Kazuhiro believes that all those possessions, including her body, become invisible because if they remain there, they would have been stolen a long time ago, which once again makes Mary think that someone controls this. He would like to unravel this mystery someday, but he is not in a hurry at the moment. Kazuhiro asks if there is any place they can go to take a walk, but she says that she cannot spend her entire life fooling around. She has responsibilities in her position in the other world, including a very complicated study on ancient magic. This catches Kazuhiro's attention, and he asks if she has ever seen any magical stones. Mary replies that no one has ever seen them, and they are considered nothing more than a legend. But after seeing the draconian, she no longer believes that anything is impossible. Kazuhiro takes advantage of this and makes an invitation, asking her to explore a place where they say there is a quarry of magical stone. She accepts, but in return asks him to bring food. At bedtime, he realizes that her warmth makes him fall asleep faster, but he becomes curious about whether after she has learned enough Japanese, she will want to end her relationship with him. After waking up in the other world, there is a little bird right on Kazuhiro's forehead. After getting up, he grabs a flower and the two of them begin planning the exploration. The specific place is called the ruins of Uya. It is very far away, and Mary becomes worried about it. But Kazuhiro calms her by saying that he possesses a teleportation ability, so she approaches, and the two of them fall into a pulse with different exits. He explains that they are on a level below the world, and there they can move much faster across long distances. It is an ability that is almost exclusive to merchants and is very little known. The steps to activate this ability are to write your name on a statue of the god of travels. By doing this, you receive permission to travel in this way, but only once per day. Another drawback is that you cannot appear in places where there are very powerful and dominant beings. An example is the dragon they encountered. Finally, there is also a weight limit for the trip, but since Mary is very light, there is no problem at all, which makes her realize that she is being carried like a princess. She then asks him to put her down. He has no idea what happens if someone falls down there, so he tells Mary to stay close to him. When they arrive at the place, we see Kazuhiro placing the flower he had picked earlier on a statue. This is nothing more than a tradition. He must always offer a flower at the place where he arrives. They continue their journey. Kazuhiro explains the reason why the old quarry they are heading to became so well known. Many magical stones were extracted there, which were used to create magical items, making it a prosperous core for the population. To protect themselves, the people built a huge fortress, but eventually they reached a point where they could no no longer find magical stones, and from then on, the area fell into darkness. Although they say that those who visit the place can still feel the power of those stones hidden within the land because they never run out, Mary shows no interest in the story because she is dying from the heat. He says that there is a place up ahead where they can rest. She just has to endure a little longer, which makes him wonder if she would really be able to handle the heat of Japan. She says she will keep going because she does not want to end up hating him for bringing her to this place. From afar, it looked like just a simple mountain, but when they enter, they see that there are several buildings. Mary asks him if he really thinks they will find any magical stones. He replies that he has no idea. If someone had found something, the place would probably already be very crowded, but they can keep going in hopes of finding something else. She says she will not endure staying there for many days, and she would not become a dried-up branch just to find a stone. Suddenly, he turns around, sensing a strange presence. Even without finding anything, he stays alert with Mary until they find the place they were waiting for, the famous oasis, which will cool them down and also allow them to eat peacefully. And while eating that wonderful food, the two of them become curious about the abilities they possess. In this world, they are developing many abilities. Some are different, and others they tend to share. She says that she can show him her status bar, but he must not tell anyone, only because she is part of the Mags Guild. After that, she is very surprised to see that he has a very high level, and that he is the first person she knows with level. He did not expect her to have such a low level. But Mary justifies herself by saying that she studies spiritual magic and general magic at the same time, which prevents her from leveling up quickly. Soon we see that mages are responsible for recovering ancient arts, and some countries even hire them to fight in wars. And among mages, very few become spiritual mages like Mary. She, on the other hand, is very surprised to see his swordsman and illusionist abilities, something she had never seen before. Finally, the two of them move forward to see what they can find, but soon see a boy with a sad look. While in the background, there are many people talking about Kazuhiro and Mary. Apparently, the two of them are being watched. While they continue talking about their abilities and what they can do, Mary suddenly summons a very beautiful salamander. She explains to Kazuhiro that spiritual mages summon these insects to use magic through them, and since she has affinity with spirits, she can use several at the same time. But suddenly, a monster appears. It emerges from the water. Kazuhiro uses his swordsmanship and illusion abilities, appearing behind the monster and finishing it off without any trouble. But it was not alone. Several monsters appear, yet Kazuhiro charges straight at them. What he does not know is that there are several bandits watching him from afar. Behind the lackeys appears the boss, who uses an eye-based ability, allowing him to see that Kazuhiro has something valuable in his backpack. His lackeys ask what they should do since the kid is very good at defending himself, but the boss tells them to use that. They bring out the sad boy we saw earlier. He will be forced to play a role that he does not want. After finishing off all the monsters, Kazuhiro notices something strange, and when he looks closely, he sees a boy holding something that shines in his hand. Mary identifies him as a beast child. Suddenly, the ground starts to shake. A giant monster comes out of the water. Seeing the two of them as its prey, Kazuhiro quickly thinks about what he can do, but immediately chooses to hug Mary as the monster attacks them at the same time with magic. The two of them wake up startled, and Kazuhiro is very happy to see that she is fine and gives her a hug. Then he says that he will prepare something hot for the two of them. He cannot stop thinking that they were being watched in those ruins, since, while fighting the monsters, he felt several people nearby. To him, they are bandits who must be looking for their bodies and the things they had. Mary wonders if that boy was also part of the group, but Kazuhiro thinks that the boy looked very frightened, so he believes she was probably just being used. They see through the window that the sun is beginning to rise. So Mary asks if he is going to work, but he says no, since on Saturday he has the day off. So he will stay with her to help her study, or maybe go out to eat, which makes her very excited. They start the day walking by a river. Kazuhiro is very curious, so he asks if she is able to hear the spirits of the water. She says no because she cannot hear their voices, since they are in a very distant world. She has already tried to summon one to form a pack, but it did not work. That is exactly how Kazuhiro felt when he went to her world for the first time, as if he were back at level 1 again. At that moment, they hear a kitten resting on a bench. sandwich. She finds it very cute and runs over to pet it. At first, the cat is wary, but she ends up gaining its trust. Kazuhiro finds it very cute and also very strange to see an elf petting a cat, but he cannot hold it in when she starts saying meow and begins to laugh. Their next stop is taking Mary to a library so she can buy books in Japanese and improve even more in the language. She is very surprised to see everything clean and well lit, since the libraries she knew in her world only have darkness and dust. Everything was going well until Mary realized that Kazuhiro had taken her to the children's book section. She feels very offended because he is treating her like a child. He tries to escape the situation, saying that if she does not like it, they can look for other types of books. But he is lucky that she ends up liking it a lot. After giving it a chance, she sees how nice it is. There are many images, many colors. In other words, the books are illustrated, which makes things much easier for people who are learning. He notices that she liked a specific one and tries to encourage her to read it. But Mary still cannot understand the symbols of the language, so he offers to read it to her. She should pick the one she liked the most, and the two of them will take it. She finally chooses a book about a kitten, which looks like the one they found earlier. When they reach the counter, Kazuhiro runs into a girl he knows. Her name is Shiju. She teases him, saying that he is walking around with a very beautiful young girl. Kazuhiro says that she is a foreign relative. And then, as Shiju tries to greet her, Mary has no idea how to respond, but she tries to put her Japanese into practice. With Kazuhiro's encouragement, she ends up introducing herself as Maribel. The problem is that Ishiju adds the suffix chan to her name, which is a word used to refer to someone affectionately or with familiarity. Because of that, Mary replies by calling her Ishi-chan, making the girl feel embarrassed by the cute way Mary said it. Kazuhiro and Isiji talk a bit more. She asks if he has any intentions of getting involved with Mary. He is a man and cannot deny having those thoughts. But he will not try anything since Mary is very innocent and he does not want to be hated by her. Shiju understands perfectly, so she changes the subject and continues her work asking for a library card. Kazuhiro takes the opportunity to change his address since he moved recently, but by coincidence Joe lives in the same building, so she takes the chance to invite them to go out sometime. She would love to be friends with Mary. They make it clear that there is no problem with that and say goodbye, leaving Kazuhiro hoping that will become Mary's first friend. When they arrive home, before he starts cooking, Kazuhiro puts on a small children's movie they bought at the library. Mary perceives it as an incredible, colorful magic and cannot believe that all of this comes from the television using only technology. He goes to prepare some pancakes for her to eat while watching the movie. The pancakes turn out very delicious, but she asks to watch the movie from the beginning. And if it is not too much trouble, she wants him to explain what is happening so she can understand it better. Kazuhiro sees no problem with that and closes the windows so they can see the movie better. In a specific scene, old houses from Japan are shown, which makes him remember that his grandfather lives in an area where the houses still maintain that peculiar style. So he invites Mary to visit him someday. To her, it sounds like a perfect idea. And best of all, Kazuhiro will soon be on vacation, so they will be able to go anytime. The two of them continue having fun, laughing, and enjoying the moment until the movie ends. Mary jumps on top of Kazuhiro like a crazy person. She loves the movie and is very excited. Clearly, she loves books, but above all, she loves imagining. For her, watching a movie is like seeing someone else's imagination. Kazuhiro tells her that in Japan, there are all kinds of anime, video games, and fun things that will fascinate her once she understands Japanese better. And this motivates her even more to keep studying. So she affectionately asks to watch the movie again. He puts it on again for her to watch. But while she enjoys herself, he goes to prepare dinner. When he is finishing, Mary decides to take a bath, but suddenly everything starts shaking because of a small earthquake, which for him is nothing to worry about. Mary runs out naked to hug him because of the scare she got. She has no idea what is happening and is very frightened. She lets out a scream when she realizes she is naked in front of him and asks him to close his eyes so she can get dressed. Kazuhiro feels proud of himself because he managed to hold back. When it is time to serve the food, she comes out very sad about what happened and apologizes. Kazuhiro also apologizes. He should have warned her that in Japan there are many earthquakes. The two pretend that nothing happened and sit down to eat. Today's meal is called curry. Even though it is very spicy, Mary does not stop eating because the taste is very good. When they finish eating, they talk about what they should do when they arrive in the other world. Mary gets desperate at the fact that Kazuhiro is so calm despite the situation they need to face, and he tells her that they should not worry, unlike when they were sent sent to Japan. Now, they can make the other trip with their transferability. In addition, since they are good people, they are thinking about what they should do to help the Beast Boy. Mary also remembers that the records that talked about this race mentioned that they were specialists in the use of magic stones, and then there is a small possibility that the child controlled that beast with some kind of similar stone. That said, the two go to sleep. Before that, Kazuhiro reads the book they picked up at the library. Mary slowly starts to fall asleep. Kazuhiro reflects on how his life has changed since Mary has been with him and turns off the lights, sleeping beside her. Now, we have the opportunity to learn a bit about the life of the Beast Boy. His name is Maggie, and he was with his grandfather who showed him a magic stone for the first time. When Maggie touched it, the stone began to glow intensely. The grandfather tells Maggie that since ancient times, their race has possessed the power to control this type of stone. In fact, the one they were showing was very special, but not in a positive way, because it was responsible for the destruction of their own people. Maggie remembered those moments crying while holding the same stone. Now, Mary and Kazuhiro are ready to rescue Maggie and drive away the bandit. The plan begins with Mary summoning her spirit, using them to become invisible. And even though Kazuhiro is very surprised, he still asks her not to take too many risks. She asks the same of him. In addition, when the two return, she wants him to continue reading the book they left halfway through. He agrees and charges toward the houses. The plan is as follows. They want to find the boy, but for that, they need to provoke the bandits first, forcing them to use Maggie so that he will once again summon water monsters. At that moment, Kazuhiro will approach the boy and help him while Mary distracts the monster. When Kazuhiro finds the first bandit, he tells Mary to get ready and says that he is counting on her, which makes her happy to hear that. She uses her fire spirits on the ground, which shoot at the monster. Everything goes well, and Mary manages to distract the monsters. Meanwhile, Kazuhiro just keeps watching to see if he can find Maggie. Everything works out. The boy appears, and Kazuhiro goes after him. Maggie is scared because he does not know what is happening, thinking that the two are seeking revenge against him, but Kazuhiro calms him by speaking in his beast language, so he knows he came to rescue him. The boy is surprised that he speaks his language. Kazuhiro explains that his hobby is learning other languages, but the two do not have time to chat. Kazuhiro asks if he was captured. Maggie replies that yes, because his race is very weak. He and his grandfather lived in hiding because if humans found them, they would do terrible things, and proof of that is that they were found, and on that day, the humans appeared and burned his house along with his grandfather. This makes Kazuhiro very sad, but they do not have time now and need to leave as soon as possible. Despite distrusting humans, Maggie desperately asks for help because he does not want to keep doing bad things that he is being forced to do. He hates summoning monsters to harm the travelers who pass through there. At that moment, someone throws a knife at them, but Kazuhiro dodges it without problem. Behind them is the bandit leader with his henchmen, saying that they know he escaped yesterday thanks to a teleportation ability. Our protagonist calmly says that he is right and asks him to release Maggie since the shackles will not be so easy to remove. So, he proposes freeing him in exchange for the treasures he carries in his backpack, showing the key to the shackles to prove that he is not lying. Kazuhiro realizes that if he became interested in his treasures, it is because he possesses a detection ability. So he smiles and teleports in front of him and breaks the key in an instant. In this way, Maggie is freed. But the problem is still not over. Now, the bandit is furious and wants to make Kazuhiro pay through suffering. Even so, Kazuhiro does not let himself be intimidated and defeats the most annoying henchmen one by one with his ability. One of them is creating illusory copies of himself to distract them while Maggie hides. The boy is surprised, but humbly Kazuhiro says that he is not as strong as he seems. He is just a specialist in escaping thanks to his sword and his illusion ability. But he is not very good at protecting others, so he asks Maggie to hide while he continues fighting. Maggie introduces himself, and Kazuhiro does as well. The bandits try to stay alert, but it is useless against him who keeps making fools of them all. Kazuhiro takes the opportunity to communicate with Mary, who tells him that the monster went back to hiding in the waters thanks to Maggie's help, but he asks Mary not to move yet. There is only one thing that bothers him. The bandit leader does not show even a bit of irritation. He is standing still with two henchmen protecting his back. Suddenly, we see what he was doing. The bandit was using his ability to find Mary, but luckily, Kazuhiro hears that they are going after her. So, he moves to defeat those who are heading toward her. But what he did not expect is that the bandit leader was is using his henchmen as bait, so he launches a powerful spell that burns them all. But luckily, Kazuhiro dodges it. This makes him realize that this bandit is not just anyone. He is a mage who does not care about sacrificing his own henchmen. Everything gets worse when the bandit shows that they have captured Maggie again. With no other option, Kazuhiro teleports to where they are. Even so, the situation becomes even more worrying since the bandit discovers that Kazuhiro's ability has a weight limit for teleportation. Because if that were not the case, he would have already escaped with the child from the beginning. Kazuhiro retreats a little, overwhelmed because the bandit is right. Kazuhiro releases something that serves to remove the weight limit, managing to teleport with the boy, but the teleport ends up throwing them to a very high place. Even so, the sand cushions the fall. Fortunately, both of them are fine and keep moving. The only thing the bandits did not expect is that the monster reappears and knocks all of them down. But the monster also stands before Kazuhiro, who knows there is no way to escape this enormous monster, but he cannot die now. If that happens, Mary will be left alone. However, the monster has no intention of harming them. What it does is release some strange threads that go toward them as if they were searching for something. Mag understands that it is the magic stone, and this is thanks to his grandfather having told him that when they extracted that stone, they awakened a creature from the depths of the earth. When it emerged, it advanced against the people, and his ancestors had to flee to Yuya. Since then, his race has hidden from humans, but also from this monster living in the shadows. Upon hearing this, Kazuhiro tells him to do what is right. Mag apologizes to the monster and returns the magic stone. When it receives it, that monster returns to the earth. There were no explanations as to why it had been searching for that stone for more than years. But the important thing now is that it will finally be able to rest in the depth. As the monster left, it revealed an underground labyrinth as it descended. Mary runs closer to Kazuhiro, and when he sees her, he has the feeling of reuniting with her after a long time. She is fine, but asks what happened. Kazuhiro does not know either. The only thing he does is show the labyrinth beside them. A great discovery. She gets even more excited about the cat boy, so she hugs him and squeezes him for being so cute. At nightfall, we see Kazuhiro reporting what happened, making the guards take charge of arresting the bandits, and regarding Meg, they will keep him safe to help the nation extract magic stones if needed, and then the country will treat them well. In addition, they will delve deeper into the labyrinth, which may be beneficial for their nation, which is called Eroli. The guard expects good things, but this can also cause bad things. Only time will tell. In any case, this unknown situation only makes Kazuhiro even more excited. After that, we see many people gathered talking about the magic stones. It seems that since then, many people have been visiting the place where Mary and Kazuhiro were. Kazuhiro is thrilled because everyone is talking about the labyrinth they found. Mary says that this is obvious, since whoever finds the stones will become rich. Normally, foreign people would not be allowed to explore them. However, they received permission to do so. But Mary brings the news that she does not know if she will be able to participate, since the Mags Guild will not allow it due to her current level. As the labyrinth is still a mystery, they will prefer to send a highly mage to avoid risks. Knowing this, Kazuhiro already loses interest in doing the exploration. The only fun for Kazuhiro was exploring it with her, which makes Mary feel embarrassed. Now something interesting happens. It seems that the Draconian can hear them through the object she gave them and thinks they are very ignorant. They do not know what is hidden in the labyrinth, and at that very moment, her eggs begin to crack their shells, something that only happens once every 1,000 years. For her, it is a shame that the two are not there to see it together with her. The truth is that she already wants to see them again because she wants to eat more of those delicious lunches. Mary eats with Kazuhiro very happily. Her bread drips onto the plate, but he says that it is fine to just wipe the bread, and there is no problem. After that, while buttoning his shirt, he insists that it would be good to do the labyrinth exploration since they have more advantages than the others. She thinks that this advantage is not being able to die, but Kazuhiro answers that he does not want to depend on that. The fact is that unlike the others, they do not need to carry supplies because they can literally reappear in Japan at any time and bring their lunches, thus reducing the weight load or the need to return all the time to fetch more things. And at sleeping time, obviously, they do not need to worry. She thinks this is unfair. Even though he does not need her, she insists on wanting to go as well. Kazuhiro asks if there is any way to convince them. She says yes. There is a small rule that allows the one who makes the discovery to investigate it, and that person must bring an ally to explore. In other words, they need to show that they can handle it on their own. Even though it is not easy at all, they will think of a plan to manage manage it. That said, they say goodbye, and Kazuhiro needs to go to work. But before leaving, he says something important to Mary that we cannot hear. Even so, before he leaves, Mary tries to hold him in a very affectionate way, giving him motivation to work well. During the commute, Kazuhiro reflects, every Monday is awful, but he can use this time to think, especially to look for a way to impress the guild. Since in that world, he seems like a little kid, he will have to do something that leaves them speechless. This makes him remember the fight against the bandits and all the mistakes he made, like falling into their traps, and on top of that, having left Kim get caught without Mary. Since nothing happened to her, he does not intend to allow something like that to happen again. So, he needs to look for some way to improve his abilities. Another bad thing about the team is that both of them are attackers, so there is no one to provide defense. And worst of all, Kazuhiro does not know anyone to help them, nor does he have money to hire someone. Meanwhile, Mary is cleaning the house, very excited. Something that is much easier to do in this world thanks to the useful tools that exist. When she finishes, she starts studying. She really wants to watch anime and understand everything the characters say. When she finishes, it is time to cook. She feels very insecure about not knowing if she can do it and tries to remember something Kazuhiro said. Apparently, it was just a reminder. He stored the chicken that she could put in the oven to eat and gave some instructions so she could do it. She tries, and while waiting for the chicken to cook, she goes back to studying. When she notices that the smell is already coming out, she takes the chicken out and eats while watching the anime, thinking as always that it is very good. Kazuhiro is eating a small bread roll and imagines that it would taste much better if he were eating with Mary. At that moment, a message arrives from Shiju asking what he thought of the illustrated book for Mary. He says that she liked it a lot, and as Shiju suggests that they have the outing they talked about before, she will invite her husband. So, it will be a couple's outing. Kazuhiro would normally refuse, but now that he has Mary, he accepts. After that, we see the two of them waiting and having a little coffee. The coffee is very bitter. She makes a face, showing she did not like it. So, he sweetens it with milk and sugar, making it much tastier. Noticing his smile, she asks why he has been smiling so much lately. The truth is that looking at her makes him smile all the time, as if time simply stopped, leaving her very embarrassed to the point of kicking him and pulling his cheeks. At that moment is Shiju and her husband arrive. Her husband's name is Tu. Kazuhiro extends his hand and introduces them to Mary, but she herself speaks Japanese, saying, "Good evening, that it is a pleasure." She does it in a very cute way, and her husband keep looking at her. But she gets bothered because her husband is looking at her in a very silly way, and even says that he did not expect her to be so beautiful, and Shiju gets jealous and punches him. This makes Mary think that she said something wrong when she sees them fighting. Kazuhiro calms her down, saying that she spoke perfectly. Tu says that he reserved a restaurant table so they can have fun. They go to a very fancy French restaurant. Inside the restaurant, it is normally not allowed to wear a cap, but Kazuhiro hopes they will forgive it this time. In any case, Tu is a bit rough, but kind. He notices that Kazuhiro feels a little pressured by the prices, and says that he should not worry because he will pay for everything since it was his wife who practically forced the invitation. He is not very excited since his wife let him leave work earlier, as she usually tells him to work overtime. Mary does not understand why there are so many pieces of cutlery next to her plate. Kazuhiro explains that there, the food is served course by course, so she should use them one by one, starting from the outside and moving inward, something Mary finds very classy. The man asks them to relax and start enjoying themselves, and from that point on, they enjoy several luxurious dishes and have a lot of fun laughing and getting to know each other. All this experience of eating very delicious food makes Mary worried because she will never be able to eat something like that again in her world. They end up getting too carried away and feel embarrassed in front of Ishiju and Tu, who notice that the two look like a lovely, newly infatuated couple, making think that they are relatives who get along very well. Tu does not care at all and bluntly asks if they are dating, making Kazuhiro choke while drinking wine, but he makes it very clear with all his strength that this is not the case. Changing the subject is, Shiju congratulates Mary on her Japanese, saying that it is clear she is trying very hard. When Mary understands, she responds the way she can, saying that it is a difficult language, but that she likes learning it by watching anime. This catches Ai's attention because she recognizes the anime Mary mentions since she is also a huge fan. Kazuhiro also comments that they will visit his grandfather during the holidays. The name of the city is Omare, since Mary wants to know what the place is like. But before that, he would like her to get used to traveling to closer places. Because of that, Tu recommends that they spend a day in Shishibu, a town located in Saitama, but not the Saitama, Kenya that everyone knows, just a village. He has a friend there who owns an onin, the famous hot baths, and he usually goes there with his shiju. It is a traditional place where everyone could relax peacefully. When she sees the photos, Mary looks very curious. So Kazuhiro asks if she wants to go. When he realizes that the two of them are really going to come, Tu immediately makes the reservation. Kazuhiro is very happy to accept, although he also thinks that they seem to be deciding things far too quickly. At the end of the meeting, Kazuhiro thanks Tu for everything. But in truth, Tu is the one who is grateful. It had been a long time since he had so much fun with his wife, commenting that she laughed a lot with Mary. Ishijo even approaches to ask Kazuhiro to allow Mary to visit her apartment from time to time. Obviously, there is no problem at all. In fact, since he works a lot, she can keep Mary company, although he still feels a bit cautious because of that. Kazuhiro asks Mary what she thinks. Since the two of them will have fun watching anime and playing, she thinks it is fantastic. However, Kazuhiro seems a little worried, which makes Mary think that he is very overprotective. Since in this world there are no monsters, there is no reason to be like that. But he makes it clear that there are humans who can be more dangerous than monsters. He does not notice her doubt, so he gives the advice to relax and think about it later. On the way back, Mary tells him how she felt. At first, she was afraid of talking to people she did not know both in Japan and in the other world, but he is the only person she feels comfortable with. She is very happy for having tried, and for that, she is very grateful to him. Although Kazuhiro thinks it is the opposite, he tells Mary that since she arrived, everything around him has changed. Even the most boring anime on Sunday, he watches it laughing if she is on his mattress. That is why he thanks her for coming to Japan. When they realize that both of them are confessing their feelings, they feel embarrassed and walk back home holding hands. Along the way, Kazuhiro remembers the labyrinth and, thinking better about it, prefers to leave it with the Mages Guild for now, at least until they can guarantee safety. Mary would like to tell him not to worry, but she knows him well and knows that he is very protective and stubborn, so she agrees. Kazuhiro asks if it is true, if he really is overprotective and stubborn. Mary answers that it is obvious that he has no idea how much. The two return to the other world, and soon we see a man giving information about the labyrinth that was recently discovered. The place appears to be quite deep, and its scale is still not known at the moment, receiving a provisional classification with a difficulty level of AH. Even so, it may be higher, and everyone seems very excited. All of this is heard by Kazuhiro and Mary. She wonders why all these crazy people are happy, since the exploration can be very dangerous. Kazuhiro realizes that the man is only stirring people up, and replies that the more dangerous the place is, the more treasures they can find. The man continues saying that they have already found some magic stones, and now the location will be restricted to authorized people only. They will close the ruins of Uya. Now he informs that the prosperity of that land is guaranteed, and everyone celebrates that their nation will keep everything. The meeting ends, and everyone stays behind to exchange information. So Hiro suggests that they will do the same. Mary thinks it is a good idea and gets ready to talk with other people, but he reveals that he does not want to talk to anyone. He only wants to listen to what others are saying, which makes her quite uncomfortable because in his world, she was talking to everyone. Now, it is his turn. But when she realizes that she is treating him as if he were her husband, she becomes extremely embarrassed. Even so, she ends up dragging him to talk to an old man who is a very famous mage called Uya. When Uya sees them, he already knows that they were the ones who discovered the labyrinth. Mary politely introduces herself, saying that her name is Maribel, that she is a spiritual mage who comes from Alexi, and Kazuhiro is just Kazuhiro. The old man says something very interesting when he sees his face, saying that according to him, just like the elf, he is not 100% human. But then he says that he was joking and starts laughing. In any case, the old man comments that this will be an exploration on a scale never seen before, since there are few people who have access. Kazuhiro replies that this has to do with the value of the magic stones, which is why only people connected to the government will participate, making the old man think that this boy is very intelligent for someone so young. For Mary, it must be very difficult to deal with him, but he did not expect her to answer that for her. He is very intelligent and very attentive, making it very fun to be with him. And because of those words, Kazuhiro turns red like a tomato, and old Uya starts laughing a lot again. They also talk about the magic stones. For the old man, this is not a true reason for a country to be happy, since he still does not know what they really are. Mary mentions that the cat race usually refines these stones, which is very very interesting since he has no idea why the other races cannot. For Ouya, this is just a mystery. These stories are only from about 200 years ago. However, it is as if someone erased all information related to that time, including the labyrinth they found. But anyway, the old man is already tired of talking with these little children. Before leaving, he calls Reiken to give them something. Reiken approaches and introduces himself as a person responsible for the exploration. He himself says that he will allow them to enter, but that they should proceed carefully. However, Kazuhiro says that for now they will not participate, mainly because going with just the two of them is very dangerous. But besides that, Mary also needs permission from the Mags Guild. The men realize that they are not so reckless and congratulate them for that. The old man then takes the opportunity to tease them, saying that the boy is more intelligent than he seems, and the elf is as intelligent as she seems, even though they look like simple children. They live together. Everyone around starts laughing, thinking that they are married, and one of them even thinks that elves are quite liberal these days. The two of them become extremely embarrassed. After that, they leave the place. Their objective had been to obtain a written permission. Now they can use it with the Mags Guild, but since Reiken asked them for a favor, they need to go to one place first. Kazuhiro sees that Mary is almost melting from the heat, so he recommends that Mary try some clothes that are sold there since they seem much fresher. At first, she hesitates a little because, as a mage, she should look like a mage, but Kazuhiro insists a lot. After trying on an outfit, she looks so beautiful that Kazuhiro is left speechless. After finishing, they meet with Reiken, who notices Mary's clothes. He never thought he would see an elf dressed like that. They go to see Maggie, who looks much better than before. So, Kazuhiro is happy about that. The first thing Maggie does is thank him for having rescued him. Mary immediately goes to hug him. The reason for this meeting is because Reiken needs an interpreter to talk with the little cat. It seems that he has been trying to teach the language, but Reiken is not doing very well. The important thing is that Reiken shows them a magic stone that a group of explorers found. Mary asks Maggie to touch it, and it starts to glow intensely. So they come to the conclusion that the stone is real. Even Mary can feel its magical energy. Maggie concentrates a little more, and the stone begins to levitate and even changes color. This happens because he has just refined it and changed its essence, turning it into a magical catalyst. That is why Kazuhiro asks Maggie if he feels the same thing as when he used the previous stone he possessed. He answers that, more or less, it is quite similar, but he feels that it is weaker even though the smell is the same. I guess no one expected a stone to have a specific smell, right? Anyway, Kazuhiro tells Reiken everything that Maggie just said, which makes him very happy, and he wants to inform his superiors immediately. But before that, he asks Kazuhiro for help to learn the language of the beasts. After he says goodbye, they take the opportunity to eat something because they are already starving since Maggie has not eaten anything yet. The two of them share lunch with him. The little cat loved the ice sky food dish, although he does not know it is from another world. After finishing, Maggie ends up completely full. Mary tells Maggie that it would be nice if he ended his sentences with meow. He does not feel very comfortable doing that. Changing the subject, Kazuhiro asks Maggie for a favor and asks if he can take a look at the stone and the scale they obtained from the Dragon Ark, since maybe with a lot of luck he could refine it, or something similar. Maggie tries, and when he touches it, he tells Kazuhiro that those things are incredible, and that he feels a force flowing inside him, and that it cannot be refined. Kazuhiro remembers the dragon saying that the scale she would give him was not a fallen scale without magic, but one that had been personally torn off. But that is not all. Maggie also detects that there are words inside it. Some words of permission are packed, and both remain active. Neither Mary nor Kazuhiro understand very well what that means, but Maggie tells Iris that they are sending energy to a very distant place. Maggie notices that the light is weakening, and this makes them think that maybe the Dragon Ark is having problem. Kazuhiro thinks this is impossible since she is very powerful, and he is not 100% sure if this is true. But suddenly the two stones start blinking as if they were reacting to their voices. Because of that, Kazuhiro speaks worriedly to the Dragon Ark in her language, and when they blink, as if they were giving a signal, Mary and Kazuhiro decide to go and see if something happened. Meanwhile, the Mage Guild is shown for the first time. There, a man tells the others that the ruins of Ouya have been sealed, and that the official exploration of the labyrinth will begin soon. When Mary Bell returns, they will talk, but with her current level, they cannot send her to a labyrinth. That is why they will send another person in her place. Among them, this very strange cavern guy wants to go, but the woman beside him says that sending him would complicate diplomatic relations with Ariel. Not only her, but the other other people who could go also seem to have fallen silent for no apparent reason. For that reason, the woman suggests to the man who was speaking that he should not look for a substitute and should send the one who found the labyrinth. And that is why the strange cavern guy starts provoking her, since, according to him, she only says that because Mary is her favorite. She says that it is a lie and that she just wants to see Mary's powers flourish. After that, the counselor tells everyone to shut up and that they will talk when Mary Bell returns. For now, that is all. Right after that, we see the cavern guy here walking through the corridor. He meets a very strange boy wearing a mask who asks if the cavern guy was chosen as the substitute for the exploration. The cavern guy answers with all the confidence in the world that yes, of course, leaving both of them excited about all the riches they will find in the labyrinth. However, the only thing they wonder is how that elf found a labyrinth in another country. And that strange boy is the one who makes the cavern guy here the angriest. Yes, he is referring to Kazuhiro. Speaking of him, he now meets a lizard who guides the two of them to the dragon. Kazuhiro takes the opportunity to ask his friend how the dragon is doing, who answers that lately she has been behaving very strangely. Then Kazuhiro almost soils himself and becomes very worried. And it gets worse when the lizard says that she starts howling terribly during the night out of nowhere, and he has no idea what could happen if they irritated her, even almost losing control. They keep walking. The lizard leaves them up to a certain point. Mary and Kazuhiro advance to where the dragon is, and when they arrive, they see a dragon with 3 very beautiful and newly born babies. What a beautiful thing. If you wanted to have one of these, just leave it there in the comments. Well, the two congratulate the draconian for her offspring. She transforms and waits, hoping that they brought something. Super excited, she tells them to hand it over already. Kazuhiro hands over an empty container. She realizes that they ate everything, so there is nothing for her. The poor draconian starts to cry because there is no food. She also starts complaining, saying that it has been very complicated to take care of these little creatures, feeding them with her own magical energy all day without rest. She cannot even sleep, and on top of that, they do not give her anything to eat. Mary and Kazuhiro are left without words. But the draconian continues saying that they are lucky to live as a couple, but she has no husband. The bastard went to buy cigarettes and never came back, and must be out there having fun. And she feels jealous of that, and also wanted to have fun attacking the city or something like that. Mary does not speak the language, but understands that she seems extremely tired and stressed. Kazuhiro has an idea. He tells her that on the weekend, he was planning to go to some hot springs in his homeland, and he ends up inviting her. The draconian says that the form she is in now is only one of her draconic cores. Her main body will take care of her children, and she can relax freely. So the idea is fantastic. Seeing her so happy, Mary asks Kazuhiro what he said to her, and when she finds out that she is also going on the trip with them, she complains to him for deciding things on his own. After they leave, she scolds him. According to Mary, now he is forbidden from making decisions without consulting her first. Kazuhiro, to escape the situation, asks Mary until what time the Mage Guild is open because it is already getting very late. She realizes it and runs off to work. From that day on, she worked on the accumulated reports and lessons, and he also worked a lot at his job. So, they spend a good amount of time without being together, although she travels with him to Japan. But finally, the weekend arrives. So, they meet with the dragon. However, when they are inside the ruins, the mage we know appears since he was observing them. Kawanyaki and the crazy child wonder why these two came to one of the forgotten ruins. He reinforces that that place is very strange, but since everything there has already been explored, they have no idea what they are doing there. So they go in to follow them. They even see Kazuhiro talking with the lizard man, who are supposedly very savage beings, but those two look like brothers. They keep moving forward and see some statues that seem very abnormal. The statues are weapons of great power, but they do nothing against Kazuhiro and Mary. Kanya wants to continue investigating without triggering the traps. So with a magic called Oracle, he manages to see farther ahead, becoming stunned when he sees the dragon offspring and their mother. Fortunately, it seems that the Arc Dragon detects them and causes the statues to try to crush them. On the other hand, Kazuhiro asks the dragon if everything is fine. She says that there was a small intruder outside, but nothing serious, and prepares to sleep and appear in the other world. Kana and his little companion manage to get out of the way in time, and with the information that they found an Arc Dragon. However, his most important question is to identify who Kazuhiro is. Speaking of him, he has just woken up in Japan with a somewhat curious look. The dragon managed to travel with them, and she appears lying next to him without clothes, and she had a small spasm while she was sleeping and ended up grabbing him. Instead of Kazuhiro thanking her and taking advantage, he starts screaming with all his strength, making both of them wake up. After that, the dragon contemplates a world so different that is in front of her, except that she is still not properly dressed. Kazuhiro needs to cover his eyes, otherwise Mary will tear them out. The elf tries to explain to this woman that if she does not wear appropriate clothes, they will not be able to go out. But the real problem is the dragon tail and horn that stand out on her. The dragon says that they do not need to worry, making Kazuhiro realize something very interesting. She has just spoken with Mary without any problems, meaning that she masters the language of the elves, which means that she understood what they were saying since the first day they met. The dragon says that it was simply a misunderstanding. They were murmuring so that she would not hear the conversation, and she wanted to play along and to make them stop complaining. She starts to glow. Kazuhiro asks if he can look now, but Mary immediately covers him so that he does not see, just to be safe. However, we see that she managed to put on clothes by herself, using her dragon abilities since they are made of magical particles that she can control and shape as she wishes. That done, they can finally continue the journey. Unlike Mary, the dragon is very relaxed in the car and even thinks that Kazuhiro's car moves very slowly. He is happy that she is not bored, and she truly is very entertained by the buildings of this world, but not as much as Mary, who admires everything as if she were a child. The dragon possesses such an absurd intelligence that she can understand the use of things just by observing. And she also reveals her true name, which is Hydra. She revealed her name so that they would stop being so tense all the time in her presence, since she feels uncomfortable being treated with respect just for being an arcane dragon. And Hydra simply wants to relax today. Kazuhiro also takes the opportunity to eat something since he prepares some to eat while they travel. They are rice balls with filling. When Hydra tastes them, she is delighted by how delicious they are, just like Mary. When they arrive at the place, Mary needs to put on a hat so that her ears do not show, which seems very uncomfortable to Hydra. Mary has no choice, even if she does not like it, since there would be a huge scandal if an elf came to this world. Hydra approaches her and plays with her ears, making them hide by using a bit of magic and her own hair. In the same way, she made a finger-snapping command to loosen and tie her hair. Mary becomes so happy that she throws herself to hug Hydra, since she literally saved her life. Kazuhiro also wants to know how he can thank her, making Hydra realize that these mortal children are adorable and good people. As thanks, Kazuhiro gives Hydra and Mary a very special food from Shishibu, some potatoes with Michelle. The truth is that both of them are very disappointed because they are just potatoes skewered on a stick. But they judged wrong because when they taste them, they fall in love with the unique flavor they have. And finally, after waiting so long, they arrive at the hot springs they desired so much. It is a beautiful and cozy place, full of Japanese culture. Kazuhiro had reserved a room with a private bath because of Mary's ears, but thanks to Hydra, now they can go bathe in the large baths. Everyone gets ready and goes straight there. Mary arrives already wanting to go into the bath, the famous onsen, but Hydra explains to her that first they need to wash themselves. Kazuhiro says that this is part of proper etiquette. She does not see much sense in washing before washing, but she accepts it. Hydra protects Mary so that her ears are not seen while she cleans herself. After that, they can finally enjoy the onin. They are so relaxed that they can barely speak properly. It is a unique experience for them, and they are getting used to the luxury of this new world, taking advantage of the fact that they are alone. Hydra asks Mary if she thinks they will be able to explore that labyrinth, and she calmly answers that she is not sure, because she does not know what her superiors think. Then she realizes that Hydra is aware of everything and asks how she did that, but she remembers little Maggie, who warned her that the dragon scales contain spells inside, and in fact, Hydra had been snooping, wanting to know what they would do. More than that, she wanted to observe Kazuhiro, since as far as she knows, he is the only one who can travel between worlds, and she was worried that he might be a traitor who would use this advantage for something evil. Fortunately, in this situation, she can see that he is not like that. What she did not expect was that his hobby was spending days hugging Mary. Because of that, she becomes very embarrassed and says that she will not take Hydra to the bats again for being a pervert. But Hydra says that this is not fair since she simply heard it. So if they had kissed or something like that, she would not have seen anything. This makes Mary even more embarrassed and causes her to lower her head. Mary Mary thinks that she would never do something like that, which makes Hydra understand that she is a child, and that Kazuhiro, on the other hand, is a coward in these matters. So she decides to speak with her alone, in a more private place. Then they go to a room that she thought was for resting, but when they open the door, they see some elderly women in a lot of steam, so they simply decide to turn back. But when they see that the old ladies leave very radiant and happy, they want to try going in. Hydra finds it very interesting since she understands that it is a bath that works with steam. But Mary does not like the idea very much because it is very hot. Even so, she endures it because she wants to know more about what Hydra said a short while ago, that she is a girl and Kazuhiro is a coward. Those words made Mary not feel very well. Hydra explains that her body is similar to that of spirits and also to that of elves, since both are similar to that of fairies, meaning they are very different from humans, which is quite obvious. But sometimes Mary forgets this and becomes discouraged. I did not understand anything of what they talked about, but let us continue. Hydra becomes irritated because she does not like her acting like that, and it is exactly these things that make her seem like a child. She wants to make her understand that from her perspective, Mary wants to get to know that boy better. And little by little, her body and her way of thinking are changing, but she does not notice it, and the day will come when she will become Kazuhiro's partner. Mary, in turn, is surprised, but thinks that maybe she is not very attractive to him since he hardly touches her or tries to do anything. She clarifies that she understands him, that he only wants to be respectful, and thanks him for that. And Hydra says that this is exactly what she means when she calls him a coward. However, she says that both of them have very obvious chemistry and that she could easily prove it by testing him if she wanted to. After that, she leaves the bath and approaches Kazuhiro. While Hydra continues bathing, he tells her that there are some foot baths nearby and invites her to try them. He notices that she is very red. She makes the excuse that she just left the sauna. While they are sitting and cleaning their feet, they drink something and talk. She finds it incredible that hot water is used in so many ways and is having a lot of fun. She tells him that she wants to show her gratitude. Kazuhiro asks what she means. She says that recently she had been very embarrassed, but when she saw his sleepy face, she relaxed instantly. However, this definitely cannot continue like this. Mary begins to lean in while he starts to move closer, little by little. She tells him that he should also feel a little embarrassed. Kazuhiro does not understand what is happening, but Mary stands up to give him a kiss on the forehead. At that moment, when she sees his face, she remembers Hydra's words saying that the only thing she should try to do was to give him a kiss on the hand, on the foot, or anywhere, and then it would be enough to look at his face, and she would know immediately what he feels. After that, she stands up, saying that it is time to find her friend. Hydra thought they took too long. She was already very sad and helpless for having waited so long, and only wanted to eat something tasty after the bath. Kazuhiro becomes desperate, trying to find the menu, because Hydra started crying like a crazy girl. So, they order a delicious stuffed pork, which they enjoy a lot. In his mind, Kazuhiro thinks that he did well to order a private room, since thanks to that, they can relax as much as they want. Hydra is so relaxed that she starts rolling around on the tatami, but calms down when she tastes a little alcohol. Mary also wants some, but Hydra says that Mary is still too young for that, which makes her very irritated because she is already an adult. Kazuhiro notices that they argue like sisters. They relax again and enjoy the moment. Hydra in the private bath, Mary sleeping because she drank too much, and Kazuhiro breathing calmly. He is fine outside, although he realizes that something strange is happening with him. Everything ends well. After that, they are already gathered to return home after their mini vacation. Hydra finds it interesting how attentive Kazuhiro is with Mary when she sees how he takes care of her, because for her, it is usually the woman who takes care of the man. Besides that, this boy only has eyes for Mary. Kazuhiro tries to tell Hydra that she is wrong, but she retorts saying that she had been waiting for them the whole time. Kazuhiro does not understand what she is talking about, and then Hydra explains that she is talking about the ancestral labyrinth. She means that they could have invited her from the beginning since they could not enter alone. Kazuhiro is left without a reaction because she is an arched dragon. He did not even think about inviting her to the group, and Hydra starts crying because she was left aside all this time. Because of that, they make a small stop to drink something and calm down, although she says that she had always been calm. Even so, Kazuhiro asks how she is taking care of her children, and she tells him again that the body she is using now is only one of the 7 cores she possesses, while her main body takes care care of them. Kazuhiro uses this as an argument to say that if they invited her and something happened to her as a mother, it would be very bad. But Hydra yells at him to make him understand that this is very irritating because the only thing he should worry about is preparing lunch while she will be the shield of the group, and that is all. Hydra wants to have some fun with the two of them, so she demands that they take her along. Seeing her like this, Kazuhiro is sure that he has already exceeded the limit of her patience. But even so, he still needs to wait until Mary agrees. Back in the other world, they are on their way to the Mages Guild to obtain permission to enter the labyrinth. But before that, Kazuhiro says that it would be better to hide again her dragon characteristics, or there is a probability that there will be some problem, something that Mary fully supports. In this way, Hydra ends up giving in, but it does not take long for them to be intercepted by Seven. Yes, this guy is very annoying. If Seven recognizes him, asks what a high-level mage is doing there. For Hydra, and for us as well, he is nothing more than an annoyance. Seven does not waste time, and asks Kazuhiro if it was him who, together with Mary, discovered a new labyrinth. Then, very politely, like the good gentleman he is, Kazuhiro introduces himself and asks what he wants. The bearded man goes straight to the point. He wants to know why Kazuhiro sometimes disappears out of nowhere. Yesterday, he entered those ruins, but when he tried to follow him, his presence vanished. In this world, a normal human cannot erase their energy trace so easily. Kazuhiro gets a little irritated when he realizes he was being followed, but Seven continues angry, and now he wants to know why that monster did not destroy Kazuhiro and Mary, since that dragon could destroy an entire continent if it wanted to. So why did it do nothing to those two? I do not know if you have noticed, but this idiot there has an observation ability, and by pure luck, he does not know that the dragon is the girl who is literally right next to him. In turn, he wants answers. Kazuhiro asks what he will do with the information. Kazuhiro demands an answer. Laughing, the bearded man says that he will skin Kazuhiro alive regardless of what he answers. He wants to know whether he is a monster or not, and then he will make a barbecue while torturing everyone there. Right after that will come the main event, which will be entering the labyrinth to finish off whoever he finds inside and fill his pockets with gold. That will be his happy ending, defeating monsters or explorers, whatever it may be. Then he tells the masked child to restrain the women. Mary recognizes his magic as that of a specter tamer. On the other hand, Kazuhiro becomes very serious and asks Hydra for a sword since he was a bit foolish and did not bring one. Hydra realizes that he has changed since his beloved is in danger. Even so, she takes out a sword that I do not know where she pulled from. The important thing is that it is high quality and does not break, and it is a gift of gratitude for the trip they took. Mary gives information about the magic that Seven uses, but the man tries to hurt her so that she will not speak. Next, the bearded man uses his magic against the girls, but Hydra tells Kazuhiro not to worry. Thus, the real fight begins with Seven attacking from a distance, and when Kazuhiro dodges the blows, suddenly the scene changes. And just like that, we are at the Mages Guild, where they want to judge whether Seven is truly worthy of exploring the labyrinth, because, coincidentally, something interesting is happening. The woman reveals through magic the fight between Kazuhiro and Seven. Everyone wonders who the boy is. Some even ask if it would not be better to intervene, since this could end very badly. However, Kazuhiro is using a skill called Honest, which allows him to record enemy attacks in order to dodge them later and counterattack. As for Seven, he is quite exhausted since the boy is dodging everything and not fighting head-on. Even so, Kazuhiro charges directly at him and tries to take revenge with everything he has. On the women's side, Mary warns that idiot boy that battles between guild members are forbidden. The little evil baby tooth tells her not to worry since he has not laid a finger on her yet. However, he will continue with his psychological tricks and leaving her on the verge of death. If she gets injured and dies, it will not be his fault. Then Mary complains to Hydra for not having prepared a shield. The boy said he would be the shield of the group, but she responds that she did not use one because she did not see anyone using one until now. This makes Mary even more irritated because Hydra is not even preparing to fight. She even asks the boy if it is not true that she should make more effort and use at least a shield. The idiot has no idea what to answer. He ends up getting tangled and irritated because he should not be answering anything to them. But those crazy girls ignore him and keep arguing. He finds Hydra's aura very strange, but he will discover her identity later. Meanwhile, the boy gets tired of waiting and starts using magic to summon some macabre beam. They are monster shadows called Yart. Mary is incredibly incredulous because he is using forbidden magic, and the boy laughs since he has great abilities and can hardly wait to finish all of them. Hydra, on the other hand, gets tired of being underestimated and then reveals her dragon characteristics. The boy has no idea what is happening, but suddenly something enormous rises from the ground. When the creature rises, the boy sees a gigantic dragon devouring his summons as if they were nothing. Hydra's presence is so overwhelming that it shatters his mask, revealing that he is just a girl. Mary notices this and tells Hydra to take it a little easier since she is scaring the little girl. Then Hydra tells the girl to behave, or next time she will eat her, ending the fight in just a few seconds. Returning to Kazuhiro, he strikes 7 repeated. However, he has incredible defense, so it is better to wait for the right moment to attack his weak points. The problem is that when Kazuhiro tries to attack, 7 dodges. Kazuhiro understands that this is not normal, so he deduces that the bearded man is using an ability that allows him to see the future, or something similar. Even so, he does not stop and tries to hit him, but ends up being injured by 7 and his swords. Everything becomes more complicated when the bearded man also discovers how Kazuhiro's teleport works, since he always looks at where he wants to move, and his most important requirement is having his feet on the ground. Thus, 7 unbalances Kazuhiro with his magic, kicking him hard and throwing him into the lake. Kazuhiro dodges the swords underwater, and when he looks to the side, he sees the girls calmly cheering for him, so he approaches to talk a little. After all, it is not like there is a mage trying to kill him right now, right? Hiro says that he fights far too cleanly, and that if he had one more ability, cheating or not, he would be much stronger because of that. Someday he will train him personally. On the other hand, Mary wants to help him, but he says that everything is fine. 7 sees them. Although he wanted to finish Kazuhiro quickly, he recognizes Hydra and understands that she is the dragon from the ruins. He even removes his glasses to see better. Finally, his observation ability was useful for something. However, Kazuhiro is already back and ready to fight the second round. When he looks at the bearded man, he notices that his gaze is a bit frightening and mocks him. In response, 7 fully activates his oracle ability, which took years to master, which now belongs only to him, an ability called Divine Oracle of the Chosen. Kazuhiro responds with a question, wanting to know if he will use that ability only to get rich in the labyrinth. 7 responds by saying that Kazuhiro is nobody to talk since he collaborates with an archdragon and wants to know what this kid intends to achieve. Kazuhiro answers that not everyone is stupid enough to want to use their powers only for wealth, and says all of this while preparing to attack again. He teleports to confuse him, but that should not work against the oracle. However, in a creative way, Kazuhiro uses his abilities to make him trust himself too much. And when the right moment comes, 7 grabs his sword, thinking this plan is stupid and that now he is without a sword. But what he did not expect was a slap to the face directly on the man, all thanks to 7's oracle ability being used against himself. Because even though the oracle makes his attacks very precise, it greatly reduces the variety between them, making them very repetitive. What he did not expect was that Kazuhiro had the honest ability, which finished recording every blow that 7 delivered, guaranteeing a precise victory. Everyone in the guild shouts with joy upon seeing that the old man was defeated. With that resolved, they finally arrive at the Mag's Guild. Kazuhiro had never been there, so he did not expect to see such an adorable little old man as the guild master. The guy is literally a gnome and asks Mary about her new companions. She says that they are strong and exceptional. With them, she can face the challenge of exploring the labyrinth without any problem, and because they have already saved her many times, she trusts them a lot. The old man suspects that she could be betrayed, but she proves that she will not, so he grants permission for her to explore as she wishes. This surprises Mary since she thought it would take much longer to investigate. Instead, the master says that he already knows everything he needed. He calls Ledry, who is greeted warmly by Mary. Another very unexpected thing that happened is that the gnome knew Hydra and talks to her as if they were longtime friends. Apparently, they were allies who fought shoulder to shoulder, causing disasters wherever they went and having a lot of fun in the process. In honor of their friendship, the gnome asks her to allow him to take care of the idiots they fought who are now in prison. Even though Hydra wants to eat them, she allows it. But fortunately, she now has a more refined stomach and only eats ice sky food. The gnome just laughs and says that as long as she does not eat more people, nor gnomes, everything is fine. With that, Kazuhiro returns. The first thing they do is visit me, Mary, who is now more affectionate with Mary. However, when he sees Hydra, he panics and hides because she smells like a dragon. Hydra calms him down by showing a stone impregnated with her blood. She wants him to process it. He tells her that he cannot do that and can only refine it. Even so, she trusts him, giving the advice to guide the stone into the shape that she wants it to have. Mag tries, although it is difficult, managing to change its shape as if he were blowing on a crystal. Hydra tells him to remember the sensation. Just listen to the stone and guide it. Mary thinks it is as if they were shaping melted glass. Kazuhiro says that it is a little more difficult than that. Thus, the stone takes the form of a staff. Hydra asks him to have the name Mary Bell engraved on the staff, which will bring a new breath of life to the world. Mary finds the staff beautiful and thanks Hydra. She says that it is just a reward for having gathered courage at the Onen. Kazuhiro understands nothing, but that is how his new journey of investigation begins. We are back at the labyrinth, or rather outside of it, since Kazuhiro, Mary, and Hydra are observing how it has changed since the first time they found it. However, before entering, Kazuhiro wants to go to the nearby market to buy supplies. Hydra says that in that case, it is better for them to go alone, and she will wait for them, because that way they can walk holding hands. Mary gets very embarrassed, because Hydra is basically saying that it will be a date. But to her, Mary is nothing more than a very cute little girl. On the other hand, rumors spread among the people saying that they lost contact with the first group that explored the labyrinth due to the lack of information. They will have to send the main team, which apparently is more professional. But the merchants are also happy because thanks to this situation, they are making a lot of money, deceiving innocent people with abusive prices. It is that famous price for foreigners being more expensive. And right then, Kazuhiro arrives. He wants a small tent, but the merchants say that they are working for the government and have nothing for a little child to buy. Mary appears very irritated because they are treating her little baby badly, stating that they represent the city of Lakesea and deserve more respect. Even so, the merchants say that the demand is very high and that everything is very expensive. They wanted to sell a small tent for 1 gold coin, which probably is the same as buying a kinder egg. Luckily, a man full of testosterone appears, saying that it is shameful that they want to steal people's money. His name is Zer of the House of 1,000, stating that most groups use large campaign tents, so there must certainly be many small tents, putting great pressure on those scammer merchants. Zer also asks Kazuhiro and Mary if they are from Lake. Then they were the ones who discovered the labyrinth and look as young as the rumors said. If it were not for them, those idiots would not even have sales now. With that, they managed to buy everything they were looking for at a good price and returned together to the labyrinth site, carrying everything at once. Kazuhiro thanks him a lot for the help, since they even lent furniture. Zer tells him not to worry, because that place only had sand. But thanks to them, they found an ancient labyrinth, and he is the one who is very grateful. Zer also guarantees that if they need help, they should not hesitate to ask. Just go to the exploration group and call his name, since there is no one who does not know him. Suddenly, a beautiful red-haired girl named Dola appears, tells Zer to stop boasting, and asks why Zer called her. Kazuhiro is left with his mouth open. Zer greets her and replies that he just wanted to introduce her to the kid who discovered the labyrinth. She looks at Kazuhiro and says that it is a pleasure to meet him, introducing herself as Dola, the captain of the Andalusite team. She also gives him an ear tea, which is a gift from her and Zer. He thanks her, and she says that she will be very happy if he likes her tea. Zera says that she is very picky when choosing tea, so it will certainly be the best tea Kazuhiro has ever tried. Having said that, she leaves, saying that she is going to work. She needs to prepare for tomorrow. Later, some of Zer's friends arrive, with everyone telling Ari that he is crazy about her despite having already been rejected several times. Yeah, guys, I understand him. At nightfall, Mary is very happy because the borrowed furniture looks luxurious. Kazuhiro agrees. He is used to camping outdoors, so that is too much for him. Hydra is not with them because she is observing other teams, so she will not go to Japan either. The two sleep and wake up in the usual apartment. This time, they make a toast, but before that, Kazuhiro tells her to open the package that is on the bedside table. When she opens it, we see that it is the tea that Dola gave her. Mary is surprised, and Kazuhiro says that apparently he can take food from the other world to his without any problem, making Mary very happy. Both sit down to eat calmly. The girl is happy because because she feels that a lot of time has passed, even though it is just a simple breakfast. Kazuhiro replies that maybe it is because they have been a long time without being alone, leaving both of them embarrassed. After that, they wash the dishes and realize that without Hydra, there is a lot of silence. Kazuhiro wonders what she is doing now. Mary does not express it, but she is quite irritated because he is not taking advantage of the fact that the two of them are alone. However, suddenly, Kazuhiro tells her that today he is free. So he wants to take the opportunity to cook something delicious with her. Because of that, they go shopping together. Mary takes the chance to practice her Japanese, although sometimes she does not realize that she chooses very expensive items. They greet the little cat again, and Kazuhiro gives her an ice cream. She has no idea what it is, so he explains that it is called a cone. And when she tries it, she falls in love with the texture and the flavor without meaning to. She also comments that Hydra would love it. She realizes that she is also worried since it is very strange that Hydra did not return to Japan with them. Kazuhiro thinks that maybe she was being considerate since they have not been alone for a long time. If that is the case, they should make the most of the time she gave them, so they go straight to cooking. Mary is preparing for battle with the onion in front of her. Kazuhiro asks if she knows how to cut vegetables, offending her because she cooked by herself in the other world, so there should not be any problems, and he does not need to be so overprotective. She will not hurt herself with a knife. In fact, she lived much longer than him and starts to cry, probably because she was cutting onions. Fortunately, everything works out, and the curry turns out delicious. She had already tried one before, but in that one, Kazuhiro used foreign spices. This time, the curry is 100% Japanese, and Hydra, on the other hand, is quietly observing the moon. Out of nowhere, Kazuhiro appears talking to her, and Hydra asks if he was having fun in the other world. Kazuhiro replies that on a night with such a beautiful moon, he wanted to invite a beautiful lady to dinner. Hydra asks if he is not ashamed to say something like that, so Kazuhiro says that this was how they told him to invite her, and continues by saying that the chef is an elf who prepared a special menu for her friend, and that he only came to escort her, making it impossible for Hydra to refuse after so many insistences since it is such a classy request, and she hopes that the food will be very good. Returning to Japan, we see Hydra tasting the delicious curry, so good that even the chef thinks it turned out amazing, also being praised by Hydra since she had no idea that Mary cooked so well. Kazuhiro simply smiles in the background since most of it was made by him, and while the poor elf was crying because of the little onions, the food was so good that the girls had several servings, and poor Kazuhiro thought he had cooked enough for 2 days, but he already sees that he did not. Hydra says that she is sorry for taking advantage, but he says that it is fine since her help in the labyrinth will be very important. However, she says that it is not necessary to invite her so often, arguing that office workers do not have many days off and that he should have spent them with his lady. Fortunately, it is not like that this month. Kazuhiro has several days off this month thanks to an event called Golden Week, and Mary shows the calendar with the days he does not work. This does not excite Hydra very much since she does not understand vacations because she is always free, at least until they show her a video of a train, leaving her shocked by how fast and comfortable it looks. In addition, it is heavily used during the vacation season, making Hydra very happy. Everything was going very well until Mary showed the tickets. Yes, guys, there were only 2 tickets. Hydra thought that then Mary and she would travel together, or in another case, that she would go with Kazuhiro, but she becomes very sad when she finds out, because in reality, those tickets are for Mary and him who would go visit Kazuhiro's family. Hydra then understands that she is the only one who will not travel by train nor go on vacation. Mary asks him if there is nothing that can be done. He would love to, but he has been spending a lot of money lately. Because of that, Hydra now becomes very sad because she also wanted to go, and then she starts shouting. Kazuhiro promises that next time they will take her no matter what, and tries to calm her down together with Mary. But Hydra asks when the next time will be, since she thinks they will forget about her, making both of them promise that they will take her no matter what. The next day, they go to talk to Haken. Actually, they just wanted to greet him and let him know that they were going to enter the labyrinth. He is very happy to see them. But when they introduce Hydra, he goes crazy over her beauty. Then the old man immediately hits him on the head to make him stop drooling. AA is also happy that they are ready to depart and taking advantage of the fact that the discoverers of the labyrinth are there and wanting to show something to them. He performs a very peculiar spell which shows a map of the labyrinth and leaves them very surprised. After that, Haken hands them a magical object that contains the same map, but it also works as a communicator, and Kazuhiro is also very grateful for that. In addition, Haken informs him that in their customs, the groups choose a name that represents them, which takes them by surprise. But Mary asks Kazuhiro to choose the name. Taking into account that the others chose something related to precious stones, Kazuhiro looks into Mary's eyes and decides that they will be called Amethyst. Being officially ready to enter, what they did not know is that there was a waiting line. Returning to the Arabian Sheikhs, they receive calls from several teams informing them of the situation, such as the fact that they still have not found any monsters. The Topaz team asks who the young foreigners are and mocks them for not being properly equipped. It really looks like they are going on a picnic. It is normal to think that way, but there is nothing to worry about. Haken asks if they will really be fine. The old man replies that yes, these children will find things that most people have not even seen yet. Returning to the group, the line finally ends, and they are ready to have fun in the exploration. When they enter, everything is very dark, so Mary summons a spirit of light. Kazuhiro notices that it is different from the usual one, and Hydra understands that she obtained a labor that allows her to form pacts with higher-level spirits. They continue moving forward and come across a very particular mural. It contains ancient writing. Mary and Kazuhiro read what it says. There are three things: night, star, and world. The arrow launched from the Star of Tomorrow destroyed the evil spirit. It is an ancient myth. The strike that reached the stars was a power that should not exist in this world. The evil that momentarily lost even its ability to think will return to the world without delay. After all, the Star of Tomorrow was born. Mary says that this text probably speaks about the Age of Demon, an era prior to the one they live in which the original living beings belonging to demons existed, also known as the Age of Night, because at that time it was said that only night existed. All living beings were pale and weak. There the demons were born. Mary asks Hydra if she does not know more about this, but she replies that the charm of mysteries is solving them, and that since it is a new adventure for them, she does not want to spoil everything. Kazuhiro finds the mural frightening, but also inspiring tranquility. For Mary, it is strange, but the dark blue attracts people. Anyway, they continue advancing and admiring the labyrinth, which was clearly very well preserved. Hydra, on the other hand, feels an air of nostalgia, and Mary prepares to fight, but she is disappointed because she does not see anyone. She was eager to test her new high-level staff. However, Kazuhiro feels a direct strike coming toward him and barely dodges it. It was Hydra who tried to hit him. She says that it would be a shame to leave without using the sword she gave him. So, at the very least, she will train him. And with her being his opponent, it is better for him to panic so he does not end up chopped into pieces. Thus, she keeps launching insane strikes. For her, this is a small revenge for the vacation. So, Kazuhiro has no other option. It seems that she is taking it very seriously and does not stop chasing him, and Mary just keeps watching. But suddenly, a very crazy time skip happens in which we see Kazuhiro and Mary being woken up by a little cat. Kazuhiro gets startled, but when Mary wakes up, the first thing she does is hug him very affectionately, because apparently Hydro wanted to be with them in some way. So she gave them one of her forms, which is this little cat. Hydro wants them to take care of this little cat, since they are connected in some way. Meanwhile, she will be able to see, hear, and even taste what they give it like a normal human. Only obviously, she will not be able to speak. That is why we go straight to the trip and see how Mary is amazed by the number of people who are ready to board the train. And since the station is very large, almost like a labyrinth, Kazuhiro takes the opportunity to hold her hand and avoid getting separated from his elf lady, who loved the idea and asks him not to let go of her hand at all. Taking advantage of that, they also observe the food they will take and other things from the place. All the food looks delicious, so Mary asks the little cat for some help. Kazuhiro wanted to ask her to choose calmly, but the train is already arriving. When the train finally arrives, she goes crazy and gets super excited because she sees how fast it is. In addition, it seems much bigger than in the videos. She experiences its speed when she is inside watching the scenery, which can barely be seen because it passes too fast. Hydra's little cat grumbles, wanting to see as well. They do do not wait long to start eating. Of course, they will also give something for the little cat to eat, so that Hydra can taste some of the food. Kazuhiro was also going to give her a bit of what he chose for Mary, and Kazuhiro offers a small piece of his to Mary. He did not expect her to want it directly in her mouth. He became very embarrassed, and almost missed her mouth turning red like a tomato. So Mary tells him to give a little to Hydra as well. After some time traveling, Mary is already asleep. Kazuhiro thinks she was very tired from getting excited about everything and ended up falling asleep just like the little cat. Meanwhile, he, knowing that he was going to visit his grandfather, began to remember moments with him. That man took him to his house when Kazuhiro was still just a child. The strange thing is that Kazuhiro does not remember what his house was like, nor his old neighborhood. In fact, it is difficult for him to remember even his mother's face. According to him, this may be because he was very focused on living the world he had in his dreams, which obviously ended up becoming real. Later, they finally arrive at the station. Mary notices that it is quite cold there, different from Tokyo. After that, they take a bus, and now that Mary is awake, she cannot stop looking at the beautiful scenery in front of her. She finds it very different from the city. In a way, everything is much calmer, and she even likes seeing the plantations that exist there. But Kazuhiro tells her to get ready for an even more beautiful landscape. And when she turns to the side, she comes across a very beautiful view full of nature, with a mountain called Akui. Kazuhiro feels nostalgia. He immediately remembers that the first time he saw this place was in his grandfather's car. On that occasion, he heard his own voice after a long time, was surprised and even frightened. After that, his grandfather simply offered him some sweets. And now, in the present, Mary offers him the same sweet to save her. She asks if it is tasty, and he confirms. When they finally arrive, there is only a little more walking left. Mary is happy. Now the little cat can come out. Mary falls in love with this place because it is very large. As for Kazuhiro, he finds it quite strange. When he was a child, he always passed through this place so empty, but never even noticed it, which catches Mary's attention. This makes her very curious to know what he was like as a child, because she is almost certain that he must not have changed that much. However, a giant monster appears that leaves Mary frozen, and not only her, but the little cat as well, who almost cries. It is a demon king who is about to kill everyone. I am kidding, guys, just a cow. While Mary and the little cat are terrified, Kazuhiro thinks that his grandfather is doing well, even raising a cow. Mary remembers milk cartons, but in person, they do not look that similar. After that, looking ahead, Kazuhiro tells the elf where his old house was, the place where he grew up. Inside it, Kazuhiro's grandfather hears the cow go moo, so he goes to see what is happening, but ends up reuniting with Kazuhiro, who has grown a lot. When they enter the house, the grandfather says that they traveled a lot and that it is time to rest. The beautiful and wonderful Mary tries to introduce herself in Japanese, which has been improving over time, which earns praise from the little grandfather, saying that she speaks very well. On the other hand, in a very shy manner, Kazuhiro hands a gift to the old man, who becomes very happy, but finds it very strange that he is being so formal. Then he speaks to his late wife, telling how Kazuhiro has grown a lot and now brought a very beautiful woman home. He takes the opportunity to say that Mary has very beautiful white hair, and that she even looks like a fairy from a dream. Kazuhiro freezes when he realizes that the old man guessed it. He apologizes for having said something very strange and tells Mary that his grandson slept a lot, but whenever he slept, he always seemed very happy. So he wondered if, in his dreams, he went to play somewhere. Mary also notices that they brought a little cat, so she pets it. After that, they pay their respects to the late grandmother. Mary takes advantage of the moment to ask if his grandfather knows about his dreams, but for Kazuhiro, that is impossible. However, he does not deny that this man was always very observant. They continue walking around the place, and Mary becomes fascinated because it feels like she is living inside an anime. They arrive at a room. She remembers an anime where monsters appeared behind a door similar to the one in that place. She asks Kazuhiro if she can open it. He calmly allows it, but when she opens it, there is nothing. Kazuhiro takes her to where his room used to be and teases her, saying that in reality, this room has a secret passage. The elf becomes very excited and even asks the cat to be quiet so as not to disturb her, with the help of the little cat. After a lot of searching, she realizes that there are some stairs that lead to a door at the top. When she goes up and notices that everything is dark, she begins to remember the monsters from the anime, and she only sees a shadow passing at high speed. So she becomes very scared. But even so, she still wants to search. Then she tells the cat to go as well, but he is very afraid. The situation is so stupid that it makes Kazuhiro laugh. However, his grandfather calls them to eat, so Mary must stop her search. But even so, she keeps believing that what she saw up there were monsters, not rats. The food is ready, and they start eating as if there were no tomorrow. Grandpa offers Kazuhiro a little sake, which he seems to love so much that Mary gets jealous. She also wants some, so Grandpa offers her a drink as well, and she falls in love with Japanese wine. Besides saying that they can eat as much as they want, the old man also gives them a present. It is a traditional art called kyun-sashi. He ends up giving it as a gift to Mary. The cat is already full, and they finally finish eating. They offer to wash the dishes. Even with Mary trying, she realizes that the alcohol has started to take effect. After finishing, they take a small walk under the moonlight and also under the light of the cell phone because it is getting very dark. The purpose of the walk is to recover from the wine they drank. To clear her head, Mary starts to summon spirits, which suddenly begin to shine, surprising Kazuhiro because it is the first time she manages to do this in this world. She herself cannot believe it. Before she could see them more or less, but they never answered her call. Because of that, she tried calling them in Japanese, and since apparently the spirits appreciate the local language, they decided to listen to her. Kazuhiro becomes very happy to be able to see something so precious in his world. After thanking her, she becomes very embarrassed, and she thanks him back for having brought her and allowed her to enjoy the place. She says that when she met his grandfather, she realized that the two of them are very similar. He is very calm and seems like he knows everything. Besides that, she finds it very funny that his grandfather calls him Kazuhiro all the time, since she keeps calling him Kazuhiro. But he reveals that it is his real name. Mary cannot believe it, and he reveals that he was just stupid when he was a child and put the wrong name when he appeared in the other world. She gets very angry because even though she had been calling him wrong all this time, he never told her. And for him, it made no difference at all. But for her, it did. So she starts repeating his name several times out loud, which is very embarrassing for him. When they return home, the grandfather asks how the walk was and wants to know if they are already more sober. Kazuhiro asks if they can use the bath, and Mary says that he can use it alone and leave. The grandfather realizes that they really are not 100%. After meeting again wearing slightly more relaxed clothes, Kazuhiro is enchanted by her beauty. So, he invites her to come in and wonders what his child self would do if he found out that he is dating an elf. Yeah, guys, this man has one in life. His grandfather leaves a flashlight because the lamp broke. He gets no answer at all. So, he takes a look inside the room and realizes that the two of them have already gone to the other world. Yes, guys, the old man really knows, and he even told the two of them to have fun. But Kazuhiro did not go to the other world like he normally does. Now he is full of doubts and does not even know where he is going. Suddenly, Mary's hand appears and grabs onto Kazuhiro. According to him, as long as he is with her, it does not matter where he goes. Love is truly beautiful. However, his strange dream is interrupted when he is awakened by Hydra, which surprises him because apparently she was going to visit her children. She makes it clear that distance to her is like a simple walk, and suddenly she starts remembering what they ate yesterday, which was delicious. Mary gets up and agrees with her because both of them are still enchanted by what they ate. Seeing them so relaxed, Kazuhiro thinks it would be good to take a day off, so he suggests visiting some hot springs that are close to his grandfather's house. Upon hearing this, the girls become very motivated. In truth, Hydra plans to give intensive training to the poor Kazuhiro. Mary also joins in saying that she wants to test the power of her staff and see how far it can go, all because the two of them think they will enjoy the bath more if they sweat beforehand. So Kazuhiro's rest was ruined that day. The next day, we see them waking up. His grandfather greets them with breakfast ready, which as always they love. The old man says that if they are going out today, he will lend them the car without any problem. But since they want to go to the hot pool first, they decide to go on foot since it is very close. So everyone marches out toward the new adventure except Hydra's cat because his grandfather fell in love with it, and the hot spring people would not allow a cat to enter. Poor Hydra. But actually, no. While Kazuhiro and Mary are at the reception, Hydra ran away from home. The receptionist asks if the cat is theirs, and he makes the excuse that cats like baths, which seems strange to the receptionist, but she looks for a solution since she loves cats and makes an exception. And when we see it, Mary is already inside. She enjoys her relaxing bath together with the Hydrat, who also received a bathtub, but suddenly some elderly ladies appear out out of nowhere who starts speaking Japanese but with a very strong countryside accent, so Mary cannot understand anything. After that, she leaves the bath and meets Kazuhiro. She starts speaking Japanese, imitating the lady's accent. Mary made friends with the ladies who taught her their dialect, so Kazuhiro becomes very happy for her. After that, we see that now they are going to use his grandfather's car to go out for a drive. Mary and Hydra show themselves to be very prepared. When it is time to leave, she greets his grandfather since they managed to see him from afar. He reflects that he never imagined seeing his grandson so happy. This brings him great joy. When they arrive in the city, Mary admires the beautiful scenery of the cherry blossoms thanks to the fact that in that place, these trees bloom later than in Tokyo. Kazuhiro knew this, but did not tell Mary because it was a surprise. A surprise that not only they enjoyed, but Hydra's cat did as well. Seeing them like this, Kazuhiro takes a picture, and he surprises Mary because she thinks once again that it is magic. Because of that, Kazuhiro explains to her that on Earth, they use this type of artifact to capture memories. So Mary decides that she wants to take many of these memories with her, and there she goes, completely happy, taking the opportunity to take a picture of them together. Kazuhiro turns red like the eye of a white rabbit. After that, she wants to continue the walk excitedly, willing to take even more photos. Kazuhiro still cannot get used to her calling him by his correct name. After many photos, they find a castle called Hiroaki. It was built in for the Tsugaru clan. Strange name, right? Although what is seen today is a reconstruction of the original. Mary ends up getting distracted because she can see a cherry blossom spirit. Not just one, several. But Kazuhiro keeps finding it strange because he cannot see anything. But it does not matter. They continue walking around there and arrive at a place where ancient weapons are displayed for the elf. They are incredible because she understands the power they can generate and starts thinking about how she could use them in the other world. Kazuhiro realizes that she is creating a somewhat strange plan to conquer Earth, so he gets scared and takes her to another place. The problem is that Hydra also started to become fascinated with Japanese swords, which ends up being even worse than Mary's case. And it is like this all the time. In every little thing they see, they find ways to dominate the world using Japanese strategies. When they finally visit something that does not awaken the worst in their minds, Kazuhiro reflects for a moment. He thought he did not have many childhood memories, but being there and remembering his grandfather, it is clear that he was wrong. Mary notices that he is very nostalgic. Kazuhiro does not deny it. In fact, he is very happy to have returned to this city. As expected, they went to eat something. In this case, the food of the moment is takoyaki, which are dough balls filled with octopus. Needless to say, they loved it. In the end, while Kazuhiro admires the scenery, Mary keeps staring at him. When he notices, he asks what is going on. She replies that she just wanted to know if someday she would get tired of looking at him. She remembers the first time she arrived in Japan. Everything felt like that. Remembering this, Kazuhiro says that it was wonderful to find her in his bed out of nowhere. Besides being an incredible surprise, this happened only a month ago, but they feel as if it were an eternity. For Mary, many things have changed, but the truth is that the more she learns about Kazuhiro, the more fun she has. That is why she will never get tired of looking at him. Kazuhiro thinks the same way. She continues saying that things beside him seem more beautiful. Even the cherry blossoms seem much more colorful. It is at that moment that she is hit by a current of air. Kazuhiro manages to see a cherry blossom spirit out of nowhere. He looks at Mary and she seems more beautiful than ever, and he notices a petal near her lips. Kazuhiro tries to remove it, but everything happens very quickly, as if they were hypnotized for a moment. Mary closes her eyes as Kazuhiro approaches, and the two of them seal that moment with a golden touch by sharing a very beautiful kiss. For us, it was just an instant, but time stopped for them. When they return to consciousness again, they are very red and cannot even look each other in the eyes, and they remain like that until they return home. Kazuhiro is taking a bath, but he forgot the towel, so Mary brought one to him. She takes advantage of the fact that they are separated by a wall, then tries to talk to him about what happened, but she ends up getting very embarrassed and tells him to forget it. However, Kazuhiro interrupts her and asks her to continue, so she asks if he has ever kissed someone else. Although it sounds strange, Kazuhiro says it is his first time. Even though he is an adult, he has never had that kind of intimacy with other people, which makes Mary very happy. But she ends up letting some things slip and says that kisses are not common in her culture. Not that she is not popular or anything like that. It is just that in her land, this custom does not exist. And she realizes that she does not need to feel embarrassed since it was the first time for both of them. And Kazuhiro Kazuhiro goes back to his apple bath. Leave in the comments what apples are for in a bath. Meanwhile, Mary helps his grandfather with dishes. The old man notices that she is much happier than usual, so he asks if something good happened to her. She almost drops the plate, but the old man catches it and continues saying that she and Kazuhiro get along very well. They even look like childhood friends, which makes Mary laugh because, like it or not, it is true. But she is careful not to reveal anything strange, so she tries to explain it in another way. However, the old man changes the subject and says he is going to show her something interesting. It is a photo album. To him, that album is a treasure. There he shows a photo of when Kazuhiro was years old, and he looks the same as he does in the other world. But there is one thing different that Mary notices. The grandfather seems to read her mind and says that he sees loneliness in his eyes. The old man did not expect his grandson to smile so much. Seeing him now, it is hard to believe he is the same person. But he talks about his daughter. That is Kazuhiro's mother. She is a somewhat strange woman who one day simply left, and no one knows where she went. She probably dreamed as well. Since then, he and Kazuhiro's grandmother took care of him. The boy showed no interest in people or animals, spent the whole day sleeping, and there were few things that could wake him up. When the day came that Kazuhiro left for Tokyo, his grandfather thought he had gone to look for his mother and would never return. But not only did he return, he came back accompanied by a beautiful lady at his side. That is why he thanks her, because he can see his grandson smiling so much because of her. The whole story began to touch Mary's heart, and the man continued telling her that while she is there, she does not need to worry about anything and that she can be who she really is. He gives a gentle blow to a petal that Mary had on her shoulder, which turns into a spirit and loosens her hair, revealing her true elf ears. But it does not stop there. The man tells her that when one lives for a long time, one realizes that it is necessary to accept that life has many mysteries. But even an old man can enjoy the stories of some dreams. All of this while Mary starts screaming and gives him a big hug. Later, Kazuhiro comes out of the bathroom and sees the two of them talking calmly, happy to be well, but he panics when he sees Mary with her ears exposed. He tries to signal to her, and when they see him, they laugh at the way he is acting. The trip finally ends with him saying goodbye to the old man. Mary gives him a very warm hug, thanking him for everything. The old man says that if Kazuhiro wants to inherit his work, it will be a pleasure to hand it over, but Kazuhiro says he will think about it. They say goodbye and get on the train. Kazuhiro still does not know how his grandfather knew about the other world, but at least there is someone else who knows the truth about Mary, and that makes him feel a little relieved in a way. Arriving in Tokyo, Mary feels that she has returned home. Kazuhiro feels that his home is with her. While they walk toward the apartment, he realizes that his relationship with her has advanced a little and asks Mary that they continue together on this journey, both in this world and in the other world.